Was a quiet afternoon at St. Mary's Hospital, the kind of slow, sunlit day where the soft hum of machines and faint murmurs of nurses filled the air. Everything was calm, predictable, and ordinary, until the glass doors at the entrance swung open with a force that silenced every sound in the building. A tall, broad-shouldered man stepped inside, dressed in a leather jacket with the patch of the Steel Serpents Motorcycle Club blazing across his back. His boots were muddy, his knuckles bruised, and his face hidden behind a rough beard and dark sunglasses. Everyone knew who he was. Cole Jackson, the infamous leader of one of the most feared biker gangs in the state. People said he was dangerous, that he had a past filled with violence, that he was a man no one dared to cross. But at that moment, he wasn't holding a weapon or a chain. He wasn't yelling or fighting. He was carrying something no one expected, a little girl, no more than 6 years old, wrapped in a torn pink blanket, her face pale and lifeless against his chest. Cole's boots echoed down the hallway as every nurse, doctor, and patient froze in stunned silence. The image was surreal, the feared biker leader, trembling as he held the child close, whispering something under his breath like a prayer he didn't know he still remembered how to say. If you believe that kindness can come from the most unexpected hearts, that even the toughest souls can carry the softest compassion, take a second to like, comment, share, and subscribe to Kindness Tales. Because stories like this remind us that no heart is beyond redemption. Cole's voice broke the silence as he reached the nurse's station. "She's hurt, please," he muttered, his voice low and rough. The head nurse, a woman named Ellen, hesitated for only a moment before snapping into action. "Get a gurney," she shouted, and the staff rushed forward. The biker gently placed the girl down, his large hands shaking as the medical team took over. The doctors could tell the child had been in a car accident, deep cuts on her arms, a swollen forehead, and dried blood marking her tiny face. "What happened?" a doctor asked while checking her vitals. Cole's jaw tightened. "Found her on Highway 22. Car flipped, no one else inside. She was just lying there." His voice trembled slightly, a sound no one expected from a man like him. As they rushed the girl into the emergency room, Cole tried to follow, but a security guard stepped in front of him. "Sir, you can't go in there." For a second, it looked like Cole might explode in anger, but then his shoulders dropped, and he backed away. He slumped into a chair in the waiting area, his hands covered in blood, not his own, but the child's. His gang's leather vest looked so out of place under the soft fluorescent lights. The receptionist whispered to another nurse, "That's him, the Steel Serpent leader." But Ellen, the head nurse, glanced back at Cole, and what she saw in his eyes wasn't danger. It was fear. Minutes turned into hours. Cole sat there, head in his hands, replaying every second of what happened. He was riding his Harley down the highway with his crew when he saw the smoke. Everyone else kept going, but something inside him told him to stop. When he found the car, it was upside down in a ditch, crushed and broken. And in the middle of the wreckage, that little girl. He had wrapped her in his jacket, driven as fast as his bike could take him, and barged into the nearest hospital. He didn't think. He just acted. For the first time in years, Cole felt helpless. He'd faced fights, jail time, betrayal, and loss, but this? This was different. This was something pure, something fragile, and he didn't know how to handle it. As he sat there, he noticed bloodstains on his arms. He stared at them like they were burns. For a man who'd lived his life breaking rules, this moment broke something inside him. Hours later, the doctor finally emerged. "She's stable," he said. "We stopped the internal bleeding, but she's still unconscious." Cole let out a breath he didn't realize he was holding. "Can I see her?" he asked quietly. The doctor hesitated. "Are you family?" Cole looked down. "No. Just someone who didn't want her to die alone." Something in his voice must have reached the doctor, because he nodded and allowed him in. Inside the dimly lit room, the little girl lay connected to wires and tubes, her small chest rising and falling. Cole pulled up a chair beside her bed and just sat there. He didn't know her name, where she was from, or who her family was. All he knew was that she was alive. And somehow, that mattered more than anything else right now. He reached out and gently brushed her hair aside. "Hang in there, kid," he whispered. The next morning, when Ellen came in, she found Cole asleep beside the bed, his head resting on his arms. She smiled softly. It wasn't something she expected to see. Over the next few days, Cole never left. He helped the nurses, fetched water, even cleaned up spilled medicine. The staff went from whispering about him in fear to silently admiring him. When the girl finally opened her eyes, the first thing she saw was the biker's leather jacket draped over her blanket. Her voice was faint when she spoke, "Where's Mommy?" The room went silent. The doctor gently told her they were still looking for her family, but deep down, everyone already knew, her mother hadn't survived the crash. Cole swallowed hard as the child began to cry softly. Something inside him cracked wide open. He sat beside her, not saying anything, just letting her hold his hand. He had never comforted anyone before. Not like this. Days turned into weeks. The girl, whose name turned out to be Lily, started to heal. The nurses adored her, but it was Cole she waited for every morning. He would bring her little gifts, a teddy bear from the gift shop, a drawing from one of his biker brother's kids, even a lollipop he pretended to have won in a bet. Slowly, she smiled again. And in those smiles, Cole found something he had lost long ago, peace. But trouble has a way of following a man like Cole. One night, a few of his old crew members showed up outside the hospital. They wanted to know why their leader had disappeared, why he was playing babysitter instead of riding. Cole stepped out to meet them, his eyes cold. "Go home," he told them. "I'm done with that life." They laughed, thinking he was joking. "You can't just walk away, Cole," one said. "You're one of us." Cole's voice was calm, but firm. Not anymore. For the first time, he chose to walk away from the chaos. The next morning, Ellen found a note on Lily's bedside table. It said, "Keep being strong, kid. I'll come back when you're ready to smile again. Cole." And he did leave, but not far. He found work at a local garage, fixed bikes, stayed clean, and visited the hospital every week. Months later, Lily was released into foster care. But every Sunday, Cole would take her out for ice cream, and every time she saw his leather jacket, she'd grin and call him Uncle Cole. What started as an accident became something much deeper, a redemption neither of them expected. Cole didn't just save her that day, she saved him too. Saved him from the darkness he thought he could never escape. In her innocence, he found forgiveness. In his strength, she found safety. Sometimes, angels don't wear white robes, sometimes, they wear leather jackets and carry broken hearts trying to make things right. If this story touched your heart, please take a moment to like, share, and subscribe to Kindness Tales, and leave a comment below about what kindness means to you. Sparkle's special request: before you go, drop a comment saying, "Kindness still lives in this world," if you believe even the hardest hearts can change.